In today's American society, the LGBTQ community faces major challenges and discrimination. Huge improvements has been made about their situation in our society, but there is still a lot more that has to be done. Gays, lesbians, bi, and transgender are becoming more accepted, but still faces huge contradictions from individuals and groups who do not approve of their sexuality. Religious affiliations play a key role in laws and amendments that are being legalized against rights of LGBTQ people. Christianity is one of the religions that oppose it. Some groups do it more than others. In today's society, there are no federal laws that protects LGBTQ people from discrimination.
Why are religions so opposed to the right of the LGBTQ community? Religion's purpose is to unite people as a group by providing traditions, ideas, symbols, and metaphors to interpret the world around us. The reason that everyone cannot come together is based on everyone's independent ideas and views. Preachers in the church are against the idea of same-sex marriage. LGBTQ people are fighting for their rights for preachers to marry them. They are still getting declined.
As an example, same-sex marriage is hard to accept because the Bible states that marriage should be between a man and a woman. It's mentioned in several books like Genesis, Proverbs, and Matthew, which are just a few examples given. The wife and the husband are portrayed as a unit together. Religious communities tend to support the old norms about marriage and gender structures and oppose newly adopted beliefs in today's society. More conservative groups tend to have stronger opinions about same-sex marriage. For example, a pastor located in North Carolina, Charles Worley, preaches against the support of same-sex marriage.
Of our president getting up and saying that it was all right for two women to marry or two men to marry. I tell you right now, I was disappointed bad, but I tell you right there, as sorry as you can get, the Bible's against it, God's against it, I'm against it, and if you've got any sense, you're against it. I figured a way out, a way to get rid of all the lesbians and queers, but I couldn't get it passed through Congress. Build a great, big, large fence, 150 or 100 mile long, put all the lesbians in there, fly over and drop some food. Do the same thing with the queers and the homosexuals, and have that fence electrified till they can't get out. Feed them, and you know what? In a few years, they'll die out. Do you know why? They can't reproduce. If a man ever has a young'un, praise God, he'll be the first one. All of these. You can just well, amen. I'm going to preach the hell out of all of us. Hey, I tell you right now, somebody said, who you going to vote for? I ain't going to vote for a baby killer and a homosexual lover. You said, did you mean to say that? You better believe I did. God have mercy. It makes me puking sick to think about. I don't even know whether you ought to say this in the pulpit or not. Could you imagine kissing some man? My God, I love you, feller.
Charles Worley is just one example of people who opposes themselves to the LGBTQ community, but gay, lesbian, bi, and trans people are still fighting for equality and their rights. More celebrities and people with influence have come out later years. Some of these are Caitlyn Jenner, Miley Cyrus, and Ellen DeGeneres. Ella made her first appearance of coming out on the cover of Time magazine, which was not the norm back then. She was proud of who she was and wasn't afraid to show it. This was not easy for her, and she still faced a lot of controversy when she came out. Even today, she still gets hate mail and has to deal with people that doesn't have the same beliefs. She goes on to say this quote many years later after this magazine was published. I hope the Supreme Court will do the right thing and let everyone enjoy the same rights. It's going to help keep families together. It's going to make kids feel better about who they are, and it is time.
There are other supporters of the LGBTQ community. One of them is Barack Obama, who was a major influence on our society. In his presidency, he made a statement saying that he supported these rights for the same-sex marriages.
We now have the video. Well, forgive me for interrupting. Let's just roll it. Here's the president.
I have to tell you, as I said, I've been going through an evolution on this issue. I've always been adamant that gay and lesbian Americans should be treated fairly and equally. And that's why, in addition to everything we've done in this administration, rolling back Don't Ask, Don't Tell, so that outstanding Americans can serve our country, whether it's no longer defending the Defense Against Marriage Act, which tried to federalize what has historically been state law. I've stood on the side of broader equality for the LGBT community. And I had hesitated on gay marriage, in part because I thought civil unions would be sufficient, that was something that would give people hospital visitation rights and other elements that we take for granted. And I was sensitive to the fact that for a lot of people, the word marriage was something that evokes very powerful traditions, religious beliefs, and so forth. But I have to tell you that over the course of several years, as I talk to friends and family and neighbors, when I think about members of my own staff who are in incredibly committed monogamous relationships, same-sex relationships, who are raising kids together, when I think about those soldiers or airmen or Marines or sailors who are out there fighting on my behalf and yet feel constrained, even now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone, because they're not able to commit themselves in a marriage. At a certain point, I've just concluded that for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
Should be able to affirm that same-sex couples should be able to get married. President Obama making a historic statement here today.
After the support of the president, the LGBTQ community still gets attacked. The Orlando shooting that occurred June 16th at a gay bar in the heart of Orlando is an extreme example of the discrimination against the LGBTQ society. It was one of the biggest terror attacks since 9/11. The man who performed the act was born and raised in America, but had pledged his allegiance to ISIS. He had experienced outrage after seeing two gay men kiss in Miami a week before the attack. And by this small, unimportant event, he was provoked to commit this violent and horrible act. 49 people were killed in the mass shooting, and Obama expressed his sorrow for the LGBTQ community by saying, "This is an especially heartbreaking day for our friends who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender."
The change that is occurring by accepting the LGBTQ community has increased during the last few years. Today, the majority of Americans' population support same-sex marriages, and the percentage of supporters are bigger in younger groups. This increase has made people realize that it is not impossible for LGBTQ rights to become accepted in society. People tell their personal story, and more folks understand that they know people who are LGBT community and realize they are just like everyone else, but with a different sexual orientation. Pride is for the LGBT community to enjoy and express themselves. Pride is celebrated in many different places from Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to California. It is a well-known event that everyone is welcome to and no one is judged. Many celebrities make their appearance and pray with everyone else down the street. The LGBTQ community is changing every day, and one day they will hopefully be more accepted in this society.